Hey, this is Notser. This is the Tier 7 Premium American Cruiser Atlanta. She has 16 127mm guns, 8 torpedoes, 67 AA defense rating, a surface detect of 9.4 kilometers, top speed 34.1 knots, total health 27,500. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main battery, increase main battery accuracy, reduce the chance of flood and fire, faster rudder shift. For my commander, situation awareness, basic firing training, faster turret traverse, superintendent advanced firing training, and concealment. We are on the map Shatter, and Notser, what's with the title? Anchors Aweigh ranked monster, but you're in an Atlanta. Surely the Atlanta is not the ranked monster. This is an excuse to show a really bad game. Oh no. The Atlanta is the ranked monster. And I will show you 2 games that prove just how formidable the Atlanta is in ranked matches. Now, most of you are going, she's pretty crap in random. And she is. Statistically, she's not a strong ship. And of course, it's going to be someone, I have fantastic win percentage in random battles in my Atlanta. Well, you're an outlier because the stats say she's got a win percentage of 47, 48%, which is below average, which is obviously 50%. There are some ships with a 55, 56% win rate. She is not one of them. Now, we see an enemy Pensacola. He thought he was going to be cheeky. He was going to engage the friendly destroyer, and I counter his engagement and get 4K with the first salvo because he's stationary, of course. He didn't expect anyone to be there, and I'm here to back him up. Now, the team captured A. I spawned on the side. I figured A is captured. I'm looking to counter. Unfortunately, we lose the Kiev in B, but we did do significant damage to the enemy Pensacola. Now, I took a random shot from the Colorado, and knocked out my steering. The Atlanta is very squishy, very squishy. If you're caught out showing your side, you're dead. You're absolutely dead. A battleship will end you very quickly. Even cruisers are going to end you very quickly. But if you're a destroyer and you get caught out by an Atlanta, you can kiss your ship goodbye. 3 to 4K a salvo every 3 to 5 seconds. You can't withstand that. For most destroyers, that's 4 salvos at the most. You're dead. You're absolutely 100% dead. And that's the meta. Destroyers dominate ranked play. They have the most power over the success or failure of the game. They capture points. They also try and torpedo the battleships. They take out enemy destroyers. They torpedo cruisers. They're a real pain, and they stay undetected for most of this. Now, our detection is okay. We're engaging this Colorado, trying to burn him down. Not as successful as I would like. However, he takes a torpedo. Maybe it's going to cause a flood. We are able to set a fire on his ship. I believe he doesn't have damage control. He's already used it. So he's going to take a significant amount of damage over the duration. And he's the only ship that can engage me. Now, I've pulled multiple Notsers in an effort to only have one ship attacking me. And oh no, please don't kill me right out. This is the weakest point where the Atlanta could be. Spare me. We took a citadel, but we're still alive. Somehow we're still alive. And I can engage this guy over the island as long as the target is detected. And my AA is fantastic. There's never going to be an aircraft in the sky. So aircraft carriers are countered because aircraft carriers do counter destroyers very hard in ranked. And I mean very hard. It's very annoying when you find a destroyer captain in a situation where an enemy aircraft carrier just wants to kill you. You can't get out of it. You're not going to get out of it. And are we the ones who, yes, we did. We're the ones who burned down the Colorado. So if there's an aircraft carrier, you've basically hard countered it. If there's destroyers, you basically have hard countered them. You are the hard counter to everything that's good in the current ranked meta. Now, battleships can have success, cruisers can have success, but they can't really fight for the objectives like destroyers, like aircraft carriers. And you say aircraft carriers can't fight for objectives, but the information they give their team is so important. This enemy Hatsuharu, he shows up. I'm going to fire on him. I hit probably 50% on the island, but the rest hits him for 2,300 points of damage. Now, you caught sight of an enemy cruiser, headed up that gap. I am curious where he's going to go. 4K! And we knock out a propulsion, I believe. He has to repair it, of course. And look at this, 2K! He's down to 2,600. And he hasn't really done anything wrong. He's just in the open field against an Atlanta who can hit their shots. The Atlanta is not an easy ship to use at any extended range. But if you can hit those shots, you do a lot of damage. And I'm trying to kill him. He pulled a Notser, and he's invisible. So we're just doing blind shots. The enemy Pensacola, I believe, is sort of stuck in the gap. He's trying to engage the friendly Hatsuharu. I am not interested in going into B, of course. That would be suicidal, considering the enemy destroyer is scouting me. And there's nothing I can do with my detection. It's 9.4 kilometers, which easily encompasses the area that the Hatsuharu is. So what I'm trying to do is get close enough to the Pensacola to scout him, the 2.5 kilometer range auto scout. And he has popped his hydroacoustic. But we actually got within the auto scout. He was backing up, and I don't want to go anywhere close. I just want to keep him scouted for the team to do damage. But look at my team. Look how out of position to do anything. We have 4 cruisers, battleships combined on A. There's nothing they can target. We lose the friendly destroyer, and I am still scouted by hydroacoustic because the Pensacola doesn't have radar. The only tier 7 ship that has radar is the Indianapolis, and the enemy destroyer sent out his torpedoes, and I'm going, oh crap. We got to be careful. I have to move, and now I'm committed, right? I can't do anything, so I'm going to try and head around the corner, kill this guy as quickly as I can, and hide. That's the plan, at least. And of course, he's going to be ready, so I have to hit the brakes and have a good angling, or he's going to do a lot of damage. Now we're angling, slow down. No! Oh man, he did like 13,000 points of damage. We're killing him. What the? Farragut, you're not supposed to be here. I can't take both of you on. I was supposed to kill him and run. We're going to send our torpedoes against the Farragut. We're going to finish the enemy Pensacola with our guns, and oh boy, we're going to die. But we took out the Farragut, and we took out the Pensacola. 2 for 1 in an unbelievable situation. I guess that works. My team is right there with the enemy. They basically have the same build. The only difference is a Hatsuharu that's very low, easily killed. These cruisers just push in, use that southern tip of the island to block the shots from the enemies that happen to be on the eastern side of B. These battleships, I don't know what these battleships are doing. Are they thinking they have a chance to take this cruiser out and support the assault at B? The cruiser's going to get as far away from these battleships as he can. Now, eventually, he's probably going to die, right? We have 4 ships that could be in position to just take him out. But the Schwarz, he's not going to make it easy. He's going to run away. He's going to keep only one target within his line of sight. The Colorado, the friendly battleship that's right next to him, they don't want to get torpedoed. That's my interpretation of what they're doing. And these cruisers, they don't want to do anything. They don't want to go into B. They just want to stay back. We've got 4 players on my team that don't want to win the game. They're playing not to lose. And unfortunately, they have to play to win the game right now. We are at a disadvantage. And sure, if the Schwarz dies, we will come back. But the enemy team has 2 bases to R1. So eventually, they're going to win the game. We have to get back a base, or we have to just outright kill all of them. And I don't think my team can outright kill them all. So, a friendly cruiser has aggressively pushed into B. He probably assumed he would have support. Unfortunately, he doesn't, because the other cruiser is too much of a chicken to go in. Instead, he's trying to get the Schwarz, which makes sense. Unfortunately, there's a Colorado, there's an Alba, there's a Schwarz. The Alba and the Schwarz have torpedoes. They're going to send them out. While the Colorado has great big guns for penetrating a side-on target. Now, I think the Miyoko is attempting to get within position to send their torpedoes. Unfortunately, they are showing way too much of their side. They're able to avoid the torpedo systems, and sorry, I'm trying to tell them what to do as quickly as possible. I would actually go for the Hatsuharu, because the Hatsuharu is very low. Unfortunately, He's not willing or able to get any damage, really. They take out the shores, and the Molotov is out in the open, going to die. The two battleships, they think they're all cute. They're super far away. They can't take damage. They can't dish damage. They're basically worthless at this point. Now, the Molotov does do a significant amount of AP damage, and that's really his only hope. Plus, he's got this wreck that's blocking torpedoes. For those who don't know, these wrecks, whenever they are still trying to die, they will block torpedoes. As long as they are on the surface, they will block the torpedoes. And the Molotov is doing a pretty good job of at least trading with the Alba efficiently. That Colorado can easily change it. I think the Molotov, yes, good job, Molotov. In an unwinnable situation, he's able to do damage and eventually take out the Alba, but he's not long for this world. The Colorado is just too tanky, has too much damage against a Molotov. The Molotov has like no armor. He's just taking tons of damage even though he has great angling. The best he can hope to do is try and get a little bit of chip damage that the friendly battleships can follow up. And look at the battleships. They're taking their sweet time trying to get around the giant island. The Molotov takes one right on the nose. Looked like a citadel. He did a good job, though, considering the situation. The battleships are not doing as good a job as I would hope. The Nagato and his aircraft actually scout out the Hatsuharu, and I'm hoping that the Nagato can actually catch out the Hatsuharu and take him out. But the Hatsuharu is very much aware of this, and he's trying to round the island as quickly as he can. And eventually the battleships just... I'm spamming the chat because I am frustrated by the playstyle. Obviously. These battleships cannot play this passively. They have health and armor that cruisers and destroyers don't have. This is something that random battleships try to do, and they fail miserably. So they're going to aggressively try and take out the Colorado. And hopefully the Nagato will live long enough so they can do just that. And this is the worst case scenario. It's 1v1. Even though we have a 2-to-1 advantage on the battleship encounter, the Hatsuharu, of course, is not going to show himself. He shows himself, he's dead. So far, the Nagato has been doing a good job. He's having efficient trades. He's brought back the Colorado to his health pool. Now, I could do a lot of things here. I was expecting maybe the Colorado might ram. I don't want the Nagato to ram the guy. He's got a perfect broadside. He could shove in the shells at the waterline and do massive damage. The Nagato has great angling. He should be able to dish out a lot of damage while taking a lot. Unfortunately, he aims way too high. He has to aim at the waterline. He's not going to get citadels up there. He basically hit just below his number 2 turret, and instead he decides to ram kill. And that's probably the best solution, because that Colorado was a better player. He was going to win that engagement, and it's better to be 1-for-1 trade than to give up your life for nothing. So for someone who says, Notser, I'm just not good enough. Well, that Nagato was not good enough to take on that Colorado based on the way they were playing, but he made it a point to take the Colorado with him. And that's the best thing that he did in the match, and I'm thankful because it gives our team a chance to win. Colorado is capturing B, which is fantastic. The enemy Hatsuharu sent his torpedoes. He's never going to let him see him, unfortunately, and I was trying to click on it. The Hatsuharu is somewhere to the northeast of this direct position. He's probably just west of that island that you're looking at right now, or north of that island. Left of the island is probably the best way to put it, because the angle that those torpedoes came at, he is... Perhaps maybe he wants to get behind the friendly Colorado and decap one of the bases. And the Colorado is sailing. I tell him, hey, you got to go for C. You got to force the enemy Hatsuharu to at least show himself or do something. So the Colorado, he's going to head for C. He's, of course, detected, and the Hatsuharu sends his torpedoes. So this is going to hurt. We're going to get at least one torpedo. Oh, no. The next set is much, much better. He's going to take it looks like he's going to take all 3. He takes all 3 torpedoes. He has 6,500 health left. But he's still alive. And now he can put out the flood. Or fix the flood. How can you put out a flood? He can fix the flood. And he's using his heal right now. So for a minute, maybe a minute and a half, he's not going to be able to take damage. The Hatsaharu never going to fire. If he fires, he's basically dead. Now, the Colorado, he has his guns facing correctly. He's actually listening to what the team is telling him, and I appreciate that. Whether you're good at the game or not, teamwork and following orders is just as effective. He doesn't need to be the best player. He just needs to make the right decision, and the right decision here is to take 3 points and force the Hatsaharu to do something. So I'm typing out, okay, take C and head south. Use the island to protect yourself, because really, the only way I think the Hatsaharu is going to win this game is to kill the Colorado. But I don't know what the Hatsaharu is thinking. Maybe the Hatsaharu feels like, we're going to win this game easily. I just need to survive. Well, no, you're not. The only thing he could possibly do is kill him. And we're trying to protect for that. Give him the most time, because we know the enemy destroyer is somewhere in the north. The most time to avoid the torpedoes, because he can only take probably 2. Maybe 1. He can't afford to take more than 1.5, I'd say. It all depends on how much damage it does. So now he's capturing C. We are gaining rapidly now, because of course the enemy team has no tick rate. And the Colorado gives us information. Not detected right now. Okay, interesting. So the Hatsaharu might be playing to capture bases. That's an interesting choice. And I just assumed he would go for B. B is the closest. He has to get to a point quickly. Now, the Colorado, he's making it look like he's just going to sit on C. And I'm a little afraid of that. Because if the Hatsaharu was in position, what? The Hatsaharu went all the way to A to capture it. There's no chance. There's no chance. There's not enough time. It's going to take him basically the full time that the enemy team has an advantage to capture A. And we're still going to have a 2-to-1 advantage. The game's over. There's no chance for the enemy to come back. By the time he leaves A and gets over to B, the game will be over. I don't know why the enemy destroyer chose to go for A in that situation. The Colorado is obviously a really, really slow battleship. You could be right next to him and he couldn't do anything. The Hatsaharu would have to go at like 50% speed for the Colorado to even stay up with him, let alone catch him. So it's good for our team. It was a bad call by the enemy. He learned from it, hopefully. And good luck to him next time. But that 2-for-1 trade, I had to make that happen. I don't think the team had a chance to win the game. And in fact, I felt like the team was still going to lose without the support from everyone telling these guys what to do, because the battleships, honestly, weren't playing it as well as I thought they could. But we got the win. Good job, battleships, for recovering, especially the Colorado. And we got a double strike. We also got a devastating strike, 3 kills, 2,116 base XP. And we did around 60,000 points of damage, give or take. So we did pretty good. I felt pretty good with that outcome. Now, that's not the only game. Oh, no. Here is the Atlanta. On the map, the Atlantic. It's like destiny, right? So let's see how this works out. Now, the matchup, a whole lot more destroyers. And, of course, the Atlanta. The strongest destroyer killer in ranked play right now is just salivating. I'm trying to be in position to fire on whatever destroyer happens to go for A. The friendly destroyer catches sight of a Molotov, a Nagato. So that's at least suggesting, and yes indeed, they are sending a strike force. This enemy, Boyskavitsa, is incoming, and of course I'm going to engage him. It's 11 kilometers, it's not an easy shot, but it's not an unbelievable shot for an Atlanta. It's right there at, you should probably hit this much lower percentage, but if you do hit, you can do significant damage. It's worth the risk, basically. I am detected, of course, but one of the things that the Atlanta gains from allies is they can basically absorb attention, and that's really what the Atlanta needs. The Atlanta cannot be the primary target. Interesting. There is another enemy destroyer that popped his smoke, and it is a Mayhand, and we can fire over this island. Partially. And hopefully I can hit him. Yeah, we hit him. We are able to defend the base a little bit. And the enemy Błyskawica breaks line of sight because of the island. We are undetected. The enemy team has successfully captured B. This doesn't look good, Notser. You're overextended in an Atlanta. You're not going to hide that well. No, I'm not. I'm hoping the enemy destroyer will make a mistake, show himself, and allow me to kill him. Because that is what the Atlanta is so good at. And if I take him out, then the enemies behind the island, they're not going to have a good shot. The island is just blocking. But the enemy destroyer doesn't move. He stays in his smoke. He captured A. That's exactly what he's supposed to do. And I decide, you know what? We are not taking A right now. The better option is to support the push on B. We have to get a base. We cannot allow the enemy team to have 2 bases to our nil. There's no way we're going to win the game. Plus, there's a lot of islands over here, and islands are great for blocking line of sight. But in the case of the Atlanta, I can easily fire over them and do damage because the arc is so bad. Oh, the Błyskawica. Maybe he didn't realize it was here. We catch him out, and we're going to unload on him. He has smoke. The Mayhem is the one. Oh, 6K. We knock out his propulsion, so we walk it in. We do 4K. We do one last shot. So we've done 10K so far, and we take him out. 100-0 in 7 or 8 seconds. That's just broken, right? That is just cruel and unusual punishment for destroyer captains. And you know what? It's fair play, right? Those destroyers in ranked, they can suck it, right? All the battleship and cruiser captains are like, yeah, take it. And I'm on the fence, right? I am the one who did the killing, but it's a destroyer, right? I love destroyers. And he questions my ability. How did you hit me undetected? You stopped. I didn't have to change my shot. I just fired at the last known position, and there you were. So, since the enemy destroyer is taken out, I'm going to change to the enemy Nagato, and it's behind an island, so they can't see me, and I can easily fire over the island. This is one thing that the Atlanta and the US cruiser line is honestly good at, but let's face it, everyone values the time to target. It's much easier and a lower, straighter shot. But if I can fire over an island, I'm not detected. I am raining down so much damage with my shells. I'm going to burn him up. If I actually train the shot well enough, I'm going to do around 2K, and that is a significant amount of damage to a battleship. And he can't do a thing. He can't see me. He can't fire on me. He is helpless in the open 9 kilometers away. And I'm looking for another fire. I'm like, come on. We've probably hit, maybe 68 shells, give or take. I don't know, maybe 80 shells. I'm just guessing. But still no fire, right? What's the deal? The first fire occurred right at the beginning, but the second one hasn't, and I'm hitting the back half of this ship constantly, but not getting it. Now, he eventually realizes, okay, 2 could play this game. He's going to hide behind the much larger island, and I can't engage him anymore. But the final salvo gets a second fire. Now, I don't know if he's used his damage control. I would assume he has. You don't just let the fire burn that much and take that much damage. So he actually has 2 fires burning on his ship, and that is very significant. He's going to die if I can get just a little bit more damage, and I'm definitely willing to risk my ship a little bit to finish him off. And let's not pull a Notser. That would be devastating. And sure enough, the fires are out, but he's down to 8,600, and 8,600 can very quickly melt away with the Atlanta. His guns aren't looking this way. He's actually trying to fire on the friendly battleships that out in the open were sailing against an island, and they couldn't change their angling, so of course they took massive damage. And he's trying to run away. Leave me alone! Why are you still there, Atlanta? It's just like a bunch of bees, right? And he tries one last salvo, not going to save his life. He's going to die. The shells disperse, and we're healthy. We're alive. I decided to come to a complete stop. Yes, he could fire on me, but he's the only one who can fire on me, and I knew he was going to die relatively quickly, so I was willing to risk the damage from the Nagato in order to avoid damage from everyone else on his team. And it worked out perfectly. Unfortunately, we are losing, and we just lost the second battleship. So it's just destroyers and cruisers against the enemy team. They have the advantage, in my opinion. Oh, what is this? We get to fire on a Hatsaharu at 3 kilometers, first salvo. Oh, it does 4K. We also earned high caliber. Next salvo, it does 5,800. And the friendly is able to finish him off. But that was basically our kill. We did 11,000 points of damage to the destroyer. He, of course, sent out his torpedoes. We angle against it. The island was right there to protect us. And now I'm going to drop off the detection. Drop off the detection. The Fuso misses, thankfully. And we're gone. Just like that, we disappear into the shadows again. Waiting to pounce on the one remaining enemy destroyer. Where could he be? The last known position? He was over by A. Now, I don't want to go into A. That would be suicidal. It would be 1v4 because every single enemy team could fire on me. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and team up with the Boyskavica that is just northwest of B. And I'm going to engage the enemy Myoko. The Myoko is the tier 7 Japanese cruiser, and it's fantastic. It's a solid choice for ranked play, but we're detected. And the only thing that could be detecting us is the destroyer. The Molotov is too far away. The battleship's too far away. The Myoko is, of course, behind an island. So that tells me there's an enemy destroyer somewhere there, and I'm going to engage this enemy Molotov because I can't run away from it anyway. It is just a fact of life that I have to do damage and justify the ship being detected. And the Molotov gets a good shot. Oh, screw the Molotov. Let's go after the Mayhan. He's 8.8 kilometers away. Friendly knocks out his engines just in time for my shells to only 594 damage. We could do better. Don't let him get away. He's getting away, though. And it's time. We have now arrived to the enemy cruiser in the north. And I have to angle against him. I have to do damage against him. I have to kill him before he kills me. Unfortunately, I can't angle. My steering's knocked out. And I'm not going to repair it. I'm going to stay like this because if I get set on fire, I'm in trouble. I have to be able to protect myself. So I'm willing to give up good steering just so I can make sure that I don't burn down. And he lands an okay shot, but we're doing much better damage against him. And now we're basically at the same health pool, and let's not pull a Notser. Steering did come back eventually. I'm going to avoid it. And we set him on fire. My, the game just rewards so many good strategic choices, and I'm glad we kept that up. Now it forces him to either burn or put out the fire, and I don't think he can put out the fire, so he's going to burn for a little while. And I'm just getting in position. I'm going to aggressively push against him. I have a health advantage at this point. I have much better, faster turret traverse. It's pretty scary, honestly, how much damage this ship does now that the guns don't get incapacitated nearly as much as they used to. And I did want to try and use this island to fire over it and have a barrier, but my teammates just aren't in position to scout out the enemy. I can't really do that. I can't afford him to escape, so I just continue on. He actually decides, you know what? The Atlanta, he's not going to go after me. He'd be crazy, right? Well, I am crazy, so I do consider going after him, and I actually do hit my shots. He puts out the fire, and he sent torpedoes, but they're just a little bit too wide. I don't actually have to do anything. We set him on fire right after his fire was put out. He's trying to take us out. We get another fire. Finally, he's used damage control. So for the next salvo or two, he won't be immune to it. Actually, no, he's already not immune to it. He's already dead. It's just, how fast is he going to die? And Friendly's trying to assist. Yeah, I think we got him. Yeah, we did. We got him. Enemy Myoko taken out, and the enemy Mayhan is spotted. The Hatsuharu loses his life. He sends out torpedoes. He takes the Mayhan with him. 1-for-1 trade. There's only one enemy ship left, and it's the Molotov. So, this game, we've hit 322 shells. We've earned high caliber already. We've done a fantastic job. We've only lost one gun. It's night and day on the Atlanta as far as the guns being destroyed. And going into this rank season, would you have ever thought that the Atlanta of all ships is dominant? And some of you are going, 2 games doesn't make it dominant, but proof is in the pudding, okay? I have played 10, 15 games in this now, and it is this dominant in pretty much every single one because it counters the meta perfectly. It takes out those destroyers. It takes out the aircraft carriers that counter the destroyers. Your destroyers are left healthy, and the enemy doesn't have enough people to cover all of the avenues to engage the Atlanta. The weakest point of the Atlanta is that it takes damage so easily. It has basically no armor, and that's pretty much mitigated whenever the enemy team is so focused and so clumped up they don't have a line of sight to punish the Atlanta. And that's what I've been running into most of these games. Plus, I have my best commander in this because it's a premium, because it's a part of a very large fleet. I have the world to choose for commanders, and I chose my Des Moines. My Des Moines fits perfectly with the Atlanta. The extra range is fantastic. The AA protection is great. Concealment factor is stupendous because the concealment is terrible on this ship. It's just a huge asset to have access to all your commanders, which you can't say about a lot of tier 7s. It's locked in. You have to level up that captain. Maybe you haven't done a lot of tier 7, but you want to compete in ranked play. Well, guess what? You have to use a pretty crappy commander. Yeah, the Błyskawica. That's a premium ship, Notser. Unfortunately, it's for Poland, and they only have one ship in the game. So that's the commander for the Błyskawica. You're not going to swap it out. And if you haven't played it as much, well, guess what? You don't have a commander that's this experienced. So all these factors come together to create a ship that is honestly very strong with the current meta, and we have just been hounding the enemy Molotov. I'm missing my last few shots, but we got them low enough that we are in position to get this kill. And I want this kill. I want number 4. Actually, it would be number 5, because Hatsuharu, he was basically our kill. And we missed out. It's fine. The team won. But that's a dominant performance, right? The Atlanta having a hand in 5 kills out of 7 total in a ranked match. Yeah, it's for real. So we got First Blood, high caliber, over 600,000 credits earned, 4 kills, 9 fire set, 2,733 base XP. We just dominated. Did over 116,000 points of damage, most of it high explosive. 30,000 in fires. I hope you enjoyed both of these games. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.